Midterm Elections. Party in the White House loses the House of Representatives in midterm elections. This is not a hard and fast rule, but this is a rule of thumb. So in the vast majority of elections, you're going to see the party in the White House lose at least some seats in the House. So what I have here is a table that shows that over the last 50 plus years and 14 midterm elections in total, only in 2 out of those 14 elections did the party in the White House actually gain seats. In all other elections, the 12 other examples, the party in the White House lost seats in the House of Representatives, and in many of those, it has lost a lot. It has lost by double digits. So let's start with 1970. In 1970, the party in the White House was, of course, Republican Party. Nixon won election by a wide margin in 1968. But in 1970, when Nixon was not on the ballot, Republicans lost 12 seats in the House, even though they gained 2 seats in the Senate in that election. The next midterm election in 1974, President Gerald Ford is in the White House, and Republicans lose the whopping 48 seats. This, of course, is a reaction to the Watergate scandal. Earlier in the year, Richard Nixon left office, and Ford became president. So the Republican Party sustained significant public relations damage as a result of the Watergate scandal. So it's no surprise that it lost 48 seats in the House. The next midterm election was in 1978, and Jimmy Carter was in the White House. Inflation was a serious problem, and Democrats lost 15 seats in the House of Representatives, also losing 3 in the Senate. Next, we have Ronald Reagan. In 1982, we have a midterm election, and Republicans lose 26 seats in the House of Representatives, even though they tend to gain a little bit. They gained 1 in the Senate. So 1982 was, economically speaking, a very bad year for the United States. High inflation of approximately 6.2%, very high unemployment. Unemployment reached double digits, and so Republicans took a hit. People were unhappy. Republicans lose 26 in the House. Next, in 1986, here the economy is much better. The economy turned around big time in 1983, 1984, 1985. But still, in 1986, Republicans lose 5 in the House and they lose 5 in the Senate. In 1990, we see George Herbert Walker Bush is actually in the White House, and the House Republicans lose 8. And they lose 1 in the Senate. Then we have a presidency of Bill Clinton. In 1994, we have Democrats debacle. Democrats lose 54 seats in the House of Representatives, and they lose 8 in the Senate. So to lose more than 50 seats in the House of Representatives, this really, truly is a disaster. And this was also the year in which Democrats finally lose the majority in the House of Representatives after holding on to that majority for 40 years. So major loss for Democrats. Then in 1998 and in 2002, we have anomalies. Those are elections in which the party in the White House actually managed to get victories and gain seats in the House of Representatives. So in 1998, the economy is booming. So the recession of 1990 and 91 is long behind us. We have the internet economy. We have the spread of internet commerce. Amazon had been founded approximately 4 years earlier. Google was founded in 1998. There's a spread of broadband, slow as it was in the mid to late 90s, but nevertheless, the internet economy is helping the overall economy to grow fast, and Democrats reap the dividends, and so they gain 5 seats in the House. Next, we have the 2002 midterm election. George W. Bush is in office. This election comes just over a year after the attacks of September 11th, 2001. And so what happens with George W. Bush is he reaches, soon after those attacks, he reaches 91% approval rating in a Gallup poll. And this was the highest that Gallup had ever recorded up to that time. And Republicans are now viewed as the party of national security, the party of patriotism. So they gain 8 seats in the House of Representatives, surpassing even the Democratic record set just 4 years prior of 5 seats. So then we have the election of 2006, and here the pattern returns. Republicans lose seats big time in the House of Representatives, which is not at all surprising given that the war in Iraq turned unpopular. This is now approximately, 3.5 years after the start of the Operation Iraqi Freedom. George W. Bush lost much of his approval rating, and Republicans lose 6 seats in the Senate and a whopping 30 seats in the House. Then we have the 2010 election and another Democratic debacle. Barack Obama is in office, but in 2010, unlike 2008, when he was on the ballot, a lot of young voters simply do not show up because they're not excited. Obama is not up for re-election. So a lot of first-time voters, a lot of young voters who did show up for Obama in 2008 simply do not show up to vote for him in 2010. Also, Obamacare is very unpopular. Even though it was passed into law earlier in 2010, public relation assault on Obamacare by Republicans has cost Democrats a lot of public relation points. And so they lose very big time. 63 seats are lost, surpassing the previous Democratic debacle under Bill Clinton in 1994. So 63 seats are lost. And then we see in 2014, another midterm election, another loss for the party in the White House. They lose 13 seats. So under Barack Obama, 63 plus 13, what will that give you? 76 seats. The total of 76 seats are lost in the House of Representatives. So 2014, again, a lot of young people who showed up in 2012 simply do not show up in 2014. The voter turnout is very low. It's second lowest, I think, second or third lowest for midterm elections since we started tracking this reliably in the 1930s. Then we have 2018 election. Here we have a similar dynamic, but with parties reversed. A lot of first-time voters who showed up to vote for Trump in 2016 did not show up to vote for Republicans in 2018. The continuing assault, public relations assault on the Trump's presidency took its toll, and Republicans lost 41 seats in the House of Representatives, even though they managed to gain 2 in the Senate. And we also have the midterm election of 2022. Joe Biden is in the White House. Democrats lose 9 in the House, and they actually gain 1 in the Senate. So for Democrats, this election was not terrible. While the overall pattern held, and the party in the White House lost seats, what didn't happen is perhaps even more important. And what didn't happen was the so-called red wave, which many, if not the majority of people expected going into this election. Republicans didn't have a huge victory as many thought they would. So this is the presentation. The general pattern is very clear. If you head into midterm elections, the party in the White House is at a disadvantage, and in the vast majority of cases, it will lose seats in the House of Representatives. Thank you.